When BFDI hit YouTube in January of 2010, it was very unique for its time, as it was the first ever object show to be made, but it also prompted something for the viewers watching to do. Vote. Vote on which character would be eliminated in the next episode. Voting in object shows is one of the core features of them, in which most, if not all, object shows have some sort of voting. Whether it to be eliminate someone, voting to save someone, voting two people, contestant voting, there is a lot. But which voting option is the best option? We're going to go through lots of different voting styles today in this video, from a bunch of different object shows, to determine which one is the best and which one is the worst. And we'll rank them too, why not? So without further ado, let's get into our first voting style.
And don't forget to use brackets!
Voting to eliminate a contestant was BFDI's first voting style, and also for several object shows. The gist of it is, you type a comment using the character's name, or a bracket, or a Google form, or whatever, and whichever character gets the most votes is eliminated from the game. This was a style that worked for several years, up until BFDI's 4th season split, and BFDI switched to a new style that we'll talk about later. Vote to eliminate was what all object shows used, from open source objects to inanimate insanity. It was by far the most popular option. However, this style did have some major problems. First off, it was widely known by most that if a character showed even the slightest sign of being kind of rude, they'd be gone by the next episode. So purposefully mean characters like AirPod from Moss were kinda doomed from the start, so there goes the one interesting character from the show. I'm kidding, I hope Moss returns someday. Inanimate Insanity Season 2 Episode 1 even makes fun of this trope.
Let's just get to the contest so I can cream these chumps and take the million.
Wow, why is he saying that? Everyone knows the mean characters get out first.
It was pretty much what every show did though, so there was no changing it. Well, there was no changing it until BFB post-split.
How do you like our new home?
I would say it's pretty
Vote to Save was the style introduced in BFDI's 4th season, well, the second half of it at least, and it was also incorporated into Teapot. How's it work? Well, instead of having the most votes to be eliminated, if you have the least, you'd be eliminated. Sounds like a good alternative, right? Unfortunately, Vote to Save has done more harm than good, allowing fan-favorite characters like Grassy to squeeze through eliminations with ease, and characters that didn't get enough time to develop to be eliminated just like that. Teapot is the biggest case of this. In just 15 episodes, we've lost such great characters that desperately needed something to do, and it's honestly really disappointing. Anyways, from here on out, this is what most object shows do now. Anytime a new object show joins the team, you can bet 100% it's gonna be a Vote to Save. Vote to Eliminate is pretty much lost to time now, which is pretty sad because I'd argue it's way better than Vote to Save. For one, if the community really despises a character, everyone can put in their 2 cents to voting that one character out. But for Vote to Save, there really isn't anything you can do against fan favorite superpowers, and in the end your favorite is probably not everyone's favorite, so if you really adore an underrated character like Cake or Eye Patch and they don't do much, well, it's pretty much over for them. But people can very easily pick their least favorite character, such as a character who ruins the whole challenge, and vote them out instead. But then there comes another problem. What if there are multiple people that ruin the challenge in one episode? What if we really hate one character but also hate another?
There's 2 out there!
Well, because of Teapot's gigantic cast, they eventually decided to switch by voting one character from 2 teams, but you only get 1 vote. They eventually decided to switch this up around Teapot 12, but nonetheless, object shows do this frequently now as well. I already talked about this in my BFB video, but if you have a really big cast and a really bad upload schedule, the show would not finish fast enough. And with the rate Teapot was going, 1 episode every year, yeah, something had to change if we'd be here in 2060 with Teapot 45. Same goes with Animatic Battle. They literally had 1 elimination in the first episode and decided to switch in episode 3, because 32 episodes is much more manageable than 64. Still not working out great for them though. Usually before Teapot, double eliminations were done sparingly, either to get a good final contestant roundup at the finale like Brawl of the Objects, or just to get boring characters out like Inanimate Insanity. Oh yeah, speaking of Inanimate Insanity, they eventually stopped doing viewer voting altogether. How, you may ask? Well, it's a little thing called
Nickel, I voted for you tonight.
So, in the middle of Inanimate Insanity Season 2, after the viewers voted off Soap for absolutely no reason, they decided screw it, you don't get to influence the game anymore, and pulled a total drama island with torches and stumps and tribal music to do contestant voting from now on. But the viewers still got to pick the challenge, so there was that, I guess. At Season 3, they decided to give viewers permissions back, this time voting 1 contestant for immunity, and then that fell through again, so viewers had to watch Bot get eliminated and could do nothing about it. Inanimate Insanity was also the first show to do contestant voting as far as I'm aware, because in the first 3 episodes of the show, they did actually have contestant voting, and so did Object Overload, which was also one of the first Object shows. Contestant voting is really cool if you want to plan out your show exactly as intended, but it comes at a few disadvantages, mainly less viewer participation, which is some people's favorite thing to do. It lets people make an impact regardless of how small. Some of the coolest things I see in Object shows is just how many people vote. It really exemplifies how big our community is, and how we can even get up to 70,000 voters. It's really cool to see, and contestant voting kind of removes the charm of that a bit. Okay, here are some miscellaneous ones real quick that didn't fit into the other categories. In the middle of BFDI's first season, they had a double elimination where the losing team lost 2 members, but you could only vote 1. And the 2 most voted left the team and were voted on by contestants. Winner got to join their team, loser was eliminated. This was a really cool hybrid between voting styles we talked about so far, combining vote to elimination with contestant voting, with mixing in double eliminations too. This is a really fun style, but with how small the cast was, this ended very quickly, as another name was reduced to 1 member by BFDI 13. And, yeah, that was the only miscellaneous voting system I could think of. Any others are used by, like, viewer voting and stuff, and they all kind of blow, so we're gonna move on to the best one now. And what is the best one? Well, in 2012, Jack and Jelfie uploaded their Season 2 premiere, which was called BFDIA, and at the end of the episode, 2 legendary sentences spoke out of Donut's mouth.
Did we lose?
Yeah, we lost.
We should have won. I agree.
Do not comment to vote! Instead, rate these videos.
The idea was simple. Go onto the YouTube video for the character, like the video to give them a prize, and dislike the video to make them eliminated. And it was flawless. Now people could vote for their favorite, but also vote for their least favorite. They could give their favorite character a prize that could help in the challenge or future episodes, or eliminate the least favorite to get them out of the game forever. This is the best voting system in BFDI and Object shows. It mixes everything great about Vote to Save and Vote to Eliminate, and combines them into one, giving rewards and punishment in one fell swoop. Just incredible. It's going at the top of the list. Okay, well that was fun. If you have more voting systems from Object shows I forgot, leave them in the comments because I most likely did. And if we get enough, I'll do a part 2. Support the Patreon in the description to get your name in the end credits of videos, and thanks for watching.
Alfred's Official, Guy, Jay's channel, Joshua Maya, and LJP Moves. Thank you for supporting the Patreon.